Triads are 3-note chords that come in 4 flavours: major, minor, diminished and augmented. So the major triad consists of a root note, a major third and a perfect fifth. For laziness we'll call it 1, 3, 5. If you want to know more about intervals, have a look at one of my previous videos. So if I want to arrange those 3 notes so I can play them at the same time, I have to put them on 3 different strings, like this: 8, 7 and 5. I can play this on the A string. This is an F major triad. If I say play from this A here, I've got an A major triad or a D major triad. Notice how the triads look slightly different when the B string gets involved. It kind of ruins things a bit. So I've got root, third and fifth, and then here I've got root, third and fifth. Let's go back to the first one we had though. This is the C major triad, root, third, fifth, C, E, G. If you flatten the third note, you've got a minor triad. So if I flatten this note, flattening means pushing back a note, so I'm going to flatten it to here. I've got a darker, sadder sound, a minor triad. Okay, I can do the same on here. I had an F before, now I've got F minor. I had an A before. I'm going to make that A minor by flattening the third. I had a D before. If I flatten the third, I've got D minor. Now the last 2 types of triad are diminished, which is root, flatten third, flatten fifth. So that's kind of weird. And then you've got augmented, which is root, third, sharpen the fifth, which is also weird. Now we can do those across the strings as well, but those last 2 triads are a little bit less commonly used. I think it's best to focus your effort on knowing the major and the minor triads. We actually play triads all the time, even when we're playing chords. Like say a chord of C, you might not think of that as a triad because there appears to be more than 3 notes, but actually there's only 3 notes there played in more than one place. So there's a C, E, open G, another C and another E. So there's only 3 different notes, C, E and G. So that is actually indeed a triad. Same with an A minor chord, there's actually only 3 notes there, A's, E's and C's. Okay, but played more than once. I've got an open A, an E, another A, a C, that's my minor third, and then an E. Now you might notice with some chords we don't always play them in the order we just learned them. We don't always play the root note first, and then the third, and then some kind of fifth. Sometimes we rearrange them, and then we have what's called inversions. So what we learnt here was we played a major triad using a root note, third and fifth. So that's our root position. Now what if I was to play the third, then the fifth, and then put the root note on top? In that case we've got what is called an inversion, specifically the first inversion. Have a look, I'm going to play the third, then the fifth, and then I'm going to put the C instead of here, I'm going to play this higher C. So I've got 7, 5, 5. A string, D string and G string. It's a slightly different flavour to the chord. Then I can play, if I want, the second inversion, which is where I start from the fifth, then the root note, and then put the major third on top, like a little A shape. So I've got the same triad 3 times, but played in different ways. The root position, first inversion, and then second inversion. Then we can do the same thing with the minor triad. I can start with the root note, the minor third and the perfect fifth. Or I can start on the minor third, perfect fifth, and put the root here. So I've got 6, 5, 5. Or I can play from my perfect fifth to my root note to my minor third. So I've got 3 inversions of the same triad. So here's a useful little trick we can use to actually help us to apply triads in our soloing, compositions, improvisations and so on. If I take, just for example, say a D triad. The D chord is a little triad. It's not a root position one, it actually starts on the perfect fifth, then has the root note, and then the major third. So this is a second inversion. Now, as well as playing a D like that, I can actually rearrange it. I can play the F sharp here, this is the major third, then the perfect fifth, and then the root. Or I could play a root position, triad, or even another second inversion. I just played a D triad in 4 different ways. Using this D chord, an A shape, I can take the top 3 notes, then the next 3, and then a bit of a twist here is not these 3. Don't play these 3. That's not a triad because that and that are both Ds. I need 3 different notes to be a triad. So I'm going to play this and then this. Let me recap. And then using an E shape as a starting point, I've got, and then back to my D shape. I'm getting a bit squished there. I'm sort of running out of space. Okay, so I could use this in the middle of a solo. I could be playing in the key of D and sort of messing around, running out of ideas, but then suddenly think, oh, hang on a minute, I've got a little arpeggio, a little triad there. Okay, I could even play other chords that belong to the key of D. For example, which is something I'll do a video on another time, is there are chords that belong to the key of D, such as the G chord and the A chord. So I could play those chords as little triads. So here's G, for example. Here's an A. So I could be playing in the key of D, running out of ideas, and then suddenly put a G, an A, and a D chord. We can do the same with minor. Here's D minor. Here's another D minor. Same chord, different inversion. Here's another D minor and another D minor. Using this D minor, it's an A minor shape. As a starting point, we can go, oops, and then using an E minor shape bar chord D minor, I can go, and then back to the D minor here, and then that's really getting tight up there. Again, I can improvise with that. If I was in the key of D minor, I could be playing around in D minor, say a pentatonic scale, and then run out of ideas, but then run up a D minor, maybe come down an F chord, maybe play a B flat, maybe a C, and so on.